I'm really torn with Boston right now between shitting on them today or backing them up because I know everyone else, or you especially, is going to shit on them. So maybe I'll do a little bit of both. In Boston's defense, we have a 60-game sample size of them being one of the best teams in basketball. Not just in the East, but in basketball. Them and Milwaukee have really been going at it all season long in terms of the number one seed in the East. Boston's had it for the majority of the season and has let it up because Milwaukee's won, 16 in a row now. They've been fantastic. And I don't want to, say Boston's playing bad because it's really just Milwaukee playing sensational. Outside these last couple of games when Milwaukee was going on that stretch, Boston was 8-2 in their last 10 when Milwaukee was on a 10-game win streak. So it's not like Boston was letting their foot off the gas or anything. It's just if you win 10 games in a row, it's hard to, match that. Yeah. So for Boston, it's really been post-All-Star break. Before the All-Star break, they were playing some good basketball all season. Then after came out, Tatum has that huge All-Star performance. And then he's been bad. Honestly, he's been very inefficient outside of that Cleveland game, which was nationally televised, by the way. I know you're trying to push some agenda. Was nationally televised. He did have a 40-point, almost triple-double. I think it was 40, 11, and 8 or 9 he was sensational. But outside of that, he dropped 30 against the Pacers, but was inconsistent, or inefficient, I should say. And then yesterday against Milwaukee, he was a mess. And really, the whole game yesterday, we were up early, up 28 in the second quarter. It's been turnovers. That's what killed us in the finals. And then in this season, when we have 17 or more turnovers, believe it or not, we are 1-4. No one's surprised. If you turn the ball over, you're not going to win this league. Joe Mazzulla said it after the game as well, that if you look analytically, they had more points off turnovers. They were getting more three-point shots. They were making more three-pointers. And we really just got lazy. A lot of stupid turnovers at the, I saw Seth Curry get a steal from Jason Tatum. Just weird things that you usually don't see happen on a basketball court. So credit to the Brooklyn Nets. If you go down 28, especially on the road against Boston, who you have lost 10 games in a row straight to, the fact that they're mentally tough enough to just flip that switch. They cut it to, I think, 11 going into halftime. From 28 to 11 is a whole different ballgame. So they're going to halftime feeling good about themselves. Just went on a stupid run. Then coming out of the half, I'm feeling hopeful. I'm like, listen, they're going to get into the halftime. Missoula's going to rip them a new one. They're going to come out with some energy. It didn't happen. Same shit. They were missing shots. They were turning the ball over. And they were just being lazy defensively. This team, there's a stat by, I forgot which Twitter it is, but it's basically the Celtics against isolation. Last year, they were the best in the NBA. This year, they're one of the worst when it comes to just straight-up isolation basketball. And Marcus Smart is one of the biggest contributors to that. He has been, I think, around the 20th percentile in terms of defending against isolation. Tatum and Rob Will have been among the best, but damn near everyone else in our starting lineup has been around 50% or worse in terms of percentile. So that's been a big issue for the Celtics that you don't really talk about, you don't think about, because when you look at defensive rating, they're still among top 10, top 6, whatever they are right now. But against isolation, which was a strength for them last year, especially you think about that Nets series. This year it's been a big issue. We saw that yesterday. Mikal Bridges was going crazy. So I'm not worried about the Celtics yet. I know I was tweeting that they're dog shit and all of this, but I was just upset, man. I was pissed off watching that game. But I can't get too upset. I still think we are top dogs in the East. Us and Milwaukee is going to be a dogfight in the Eastern Conference Finals. I still don't see Cleveland, the Knicks, Philly, whoever you might say, getting past us. It'll be a good series. It'll be competitive, but I'm not going to sit here and just because of one game, one outlier. If we go ahead Sunday and, end the Knicks winning streak, I want you to come up in here saying we're going to the finals if you're going to say we're frauds all of a sudden, okay? So just keep that same energy. I'm not that worried about the Celtics yet.
I don't think the Celtics are frauds per se, but I do think that the Bucks would beat them in a series.
That's fine.
You're pit bulls, but the Bucks are German shepherds.
Jesus
They get after it. And I think what you said is interesting about the Celtics' isolation defense because Tatum and Rob Will passed the eye test of defending good in ISO, great in ISO. Jaylen Brown has not been a good defender this year.
Oh,
off ball and in isolation, he hasn't been good.
That's a strong word.
And he
hasn't been Jaylen Brown of normal.
I think also what is kind of getting swept under the rug is that Al Horford is legitimately washed.
He's fucking
at least
old.
Defensively.
He's 40.
No, he is really old, and that's the reason why he cannot defend in space anymore.
Big shot Al, though.
No, yeah, he be
when you need him, bro, he be knocking him down.
With all due respect, I understand I started this off by giving Mikal credit. He deserves a lot of credit. But when Cam Johnson, Mikal Dinwiddie are picking on you defensively in the ISO, they don't respect you as a defender anymore.
Jaylen Brown is 10th percentile in terms of points per possession against isolation. It was from Dan Greenberg.
That's one of the worst. That's
10th percentile. It doesn't get worse than that.
No, it's literally bottom of the
That's
league.
literally one of the worst.
Dog shit.
And Marcus Smart, he has been battling with an injury, so I understand that. So I'm really interested in really understanding the differences in what Ime did and what Missoula's doing, because I know offensively Missoula, the offense has been better.
Mastermind.
It's been better because they're shooting more threes, and the 3-point shooting variance is kind of what bothers me with the Celtics in the playoffs. But defensively, defending an ISO isn't always defending an ISO. Maybe Udoka they were better kind of in filling up gaps and lanes, so players didn't have as easy driving lanes as they have now. I don't know, but that is a worry in the playoffs, because in the playoffs, you got to be great in ISO.
You do.
Especially ISO defense.
And I'm not too worried about the variance is going to come with 3-point shots, but the Celtics have been a top 2-3 3-point shooting team in the league. So, of course, you're going to have off nights here and there, but I do think come playoff time, they should be, maybe they'll have a game here or there, like I said, but I think overall they should be fine in terms of variance.
Good, Riff.
You know who's one of the
Usually
best
you
ISO
go first. You're
scorers
going
in the
third
league?
today, so.
Well, you know, it's Dell's topic, so Dell's always gets first on the
Absolutely. When it comes
Celtics,
to
and
the
then
Celtics,
he
that's
has beef with the Celtics, so he can go in front of me.
Understood.
I don't have any ill will to the Celtics, so this is
I don't either.
this is complete unbiased. I've been telling y'all about Jaylen Brown. I've been telling y'all for months
He's
about
focused on offense.
Jaylen Brown. His offense.
Top
I
tier.
can't say nothing about his offense.
Better not.
That boy's a 3-level
Outside
scorer.
of assist turnover ratio, yeah.
No. In terms of scoring, I can't say nothing about that boy scoring.
Borderline elite.
Bag is there, mid range is there, 3-ball percentage
could
is
be
going,
better.
but
Could be
it's
better.
there. Yeah. Finishing is there. But every part of his game has taken a step back. The playmaking has just not improved at all. And defense takes a step back because offensively you have to do a little bit more. You see it a lot with offensive players. It happens. Paul George, Kawhi, Kevin Durant to a degree. It happens. You take a higher offensive scoring, your defense is going to take a dip. And then you expect, with Boston, you expect the other guys, because you guys have 5 guys, 6 guys, 7 guys that should be able to guard. You expect Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Grant Williams to step up.
Forget about Derek White.
No, I was going to say,
Grant's
he's been
been
great.
getting
Derek
DNPs.
White's been, he's been getting cooked.
Let's relax on Derek White, man.
Oh, man.
Now this.
And I asked a question before I asked who's been better defensively this year, Derek White or Marcus Smart. I asked the Discord the other day because I was
You
genuinely
see me in the Discord?
Yeah, I did see it in Discord. I was genuinely curious because Derek White has been getting a lot of push for being this great defender. He has been, watch the film and stuff. Marcus Smart has taken a step back after winning Defensive Player of the Year, and I thought that was extremely, extremely interesting. I mean, Rob Will, he's probably going to be the same defender his whole life, elite guy on that. And Tatum is one guy that's taken that stride defensively. But the other guys, you got to step up. And for Boston, I think it's interesting because this is a team that prides himself on that two-way ability, that prides himself on switching 1 through 5 and being able to defend every position. And now you're going into the playoffs. And even going back last year a little bit, you kind of seen in every series, the star player always had a big game. And it wasn't just one. It was like multiple big games. Jimmy Butler, Giannis, not the Nets. None of them had big games. But Jimmy Butler, Giannis, Steph, they always had big games multiple times. And now this year, with you guys not having that 1 through 5 rotation that can defend in isolation, it's been interesting. I mean, looking at that Cleveland game, for example, Donovan Mitchell has been pretty much having his way against Boston, no matter the matchup, no matter the situation.
His way against a lot of people, though.
Yeah. So, but I think that's interesting because this is a one team you would think he would struggle. Big lineups, big wings, he would struggle against, but he hasn't. He's been having his way for the most part. And this is going to be tough because going into the East, like you mentioned, I don't see a team outside of the Bucks that can beat you guys. But do I see teams making it tired and then you coming into that Bucks series really gassed out? Yeah, I mean, the Knicks could be a 7-game series. The Cavs, that can be a 7-game series. The fraudulent Philly, the Sixers, that can be a 7-game series, So you can go into those Bucks series pretty much tanked out gas, and maybe the Bucks come out of the series 4 or 5 games, they all fresh, juiced up, and now you're going in there, you got to guard Giannis. You know how much energy that takes to stop an HB dive. So that takes a lot of energy and shit like that, So that'd be tough. So this is something that I think is very interesting because the Bucks defensively, I don't watch many Celtics games, so I am interested to know the schematic change between Missoula and Ime. Maybe it's accountability because I feel like isolation, like you said, there is different things, but I think in isolation, that's more of a you versus him, your effort versus his effort. And last year, we saw Udoka hold the guys accountable. They flipped the switch. They was great. This year, I don't know if Joe is that type of guy like Ime to hold players accountable, but offensively, you guys have been so fucking amazing that sometimes we kind of sweep it under the rug. And then 60 games, like you said, the sample size has been huge. They've been elite all year, so we kind of sweep it under the rug, but those little things like that truly matter in terms of matching up in the playoffs, scheming for one another. So I think this is definitely something really, really interesting.
I was going to say, it seems like a lot of what Ime got credit for was how great the defense was, and that was a big part of what he wanted to bring towards the Celtics. A lot of what you can do is within your own control. when it comes to defense. If you're giving effort, you can become a very solid defender more often than not if you have the athletic ability. And, of course, Missoula now is implementing a better offense, and now you see Jaylen Brown kind of being a part of that. Of course, Jason Tatum has been where he was great last year. He's turned it up a little bit even more this season. The one thing that I'll talk on Jaylen Brown, and then I'll talk about the Boston Celtics. I think, yes, we're seeing him shoulder a little bit more of an offensive load in the regular season, but come playoff time, I believe that the defense will still be there. You guys mentioned the isolation. I care about the defensive rating a little bit more. Of course, isolation more focuses on the individual themselves, and that's completely understandable. But in terms of team defensive basketball, you guys are still top 4. I'm not going to allow one game where, yes, it's unfortunate. Let's be real. Quarters 2, 3, and 4, you guys were not the better team. You came out quarter 1, you thought you gave them a gut punch. You thought that you guys were going to cruise to a victory. You got comfortable. Second quarter, they punched you in the mouth. Third quarter, they punched you in the mouth. And fourth quarter, they just put it to bed. Mikal was special, absolutely. Credit to Cam Johnson. Dorian Finney-Smith went 5 of 11 from 3. He had a solid game. But you can't win a game when Tatum goes 0 for 7. The whole success is predicated on Jason Tatum being Jason Tatum. We know this. It was evident last year against the Warriors. It'll be evident this year in the playoffs. If Jason Tatum is not the Jason Tatum that we all expect, and I expect, I'm not saying this to say that I don't believe in Jason Tatum. I'm just speaking very forward and very obviously. If their best player is not his normal self, the Celtics are not going to be the favorites to come out of the East. No doubt, I think Milwaukee is going to be the best series that Boston will see. But I'm not in the same belief. I definitely love the Knicks and how they've been playing this season, but I still don't see a 7-game series there. The Cavaliers, I don't see a 7-game series there. Philadelphia, you even said it, the fraudulent 76ers. I don't see 7 games there. The real test is Milwaukee. And John, of course, I want to give John some love because he did an excellent job of filling in when I wasn't there and Joel missed a couple of shows. So, of course, I want to give John some love, but I'm giving him some love by also saying that he believes the Celtics are frauds because he does not believe in Jason Tatum. And I'm calling him out because he refused to answer my question. What happened when Jason Tatum was really tested Game 6 on the road against Milwaukee when Giannis goes and drops 40 himself? Jason Tatum answers with a 40 ball himself and the W. So, listen, I understand that last we saw Jason Tatum in the playoffs, it was a little worrisome against the Warriors, but the Warriors just defensively, you want to talk about schematics, there are very few as good as Steve Kerr come playoff time, and he made great adjustments. Throwing Wiggins on Jason Tatum, you wouldn't think that would have been the matchup to really hold. Think. I'm not going to say wrong. But there's no way that you thought that.
I literally said it.
No, fair, because you also thought that Drew Holiday and Wes Matthews were going to stop Jason Tatum.
He begun the series on him, though. I thought the major adjustment was Draymond on Jaylen Brown.
That's also a fact. That's also fact, because that definitely did
limit Jaylen Brown.
Because Jaylen Brown, for the majority of that series, was the most consistent Celtic. Yeah. You're 100% right. Throwing Draymond on him kind of made Jaylen be not himself mentally. Kind of saw him get a little bit more frustrated than normal.
The length bothered him.
No doubt about that. But I believe that the Celtics are going to be fine. I mean, the Nets were on a 4-game skid, and then they come and just put on an excellent performance against the Celtics. I think that it's more so on the Celtics not taking the game as seriously after the first quarter. But all in all, the Celtics will be fine. Milwaukee is that team, though.
You don't think the Celtics and the Cavs will go 7?
I don't.
Hold up. What is this? I know you like the Cavs a lot, so I understand you think they can go to 7. Philly can take them to 7 too.
We own Philly.
I said that.
Okay.
It's just Doc Rivers.
We own Philly.
I'm just going to be honest.
Okay.
Doc Rivers is the concern.
Philly is,
Philly.
I don't think, a fraudulent team.
I just think Cavs match up better.
I think that the Bucks and Celtics have more talent than Philly.
Correct.
But if we're not getting Rob Will in that Celtics series,
why wouldn't
Embiid can
They
dominate?
do own Philly.
Why wouldn't we?
They do own Philly.
Why wouldn't
That's
we
why I
have
say
Rob
that
Will?
also.
He just got hurt again.
Okay, I mean, there's
hamstring injury.
We got a month and a
Thankfully,
half.
there is some time. You're right, but there are some time.
We got a month and a half.
Correct.
For the playoffs.
I understand, but I am just saying.
What's the
last year he was
severity
not
of the
available
hamstring,
first round.
though?
It was just
Laptop
soreness.
Rev, you want to look it up for me?
I don't even think it was a strain. I think it was just soreness
I
I saw yesterday.
Rob Will, severity of the hammy.
Okay.
I'm just nobody can guard Joel Embiid on
No,
Boston.
Nobody has ever been able to, but I don't think that matters.
Yeah.
No, I think it matters because in previous series when you guys did face him in the playoffs,
You've limited him. Correct.
You've
Embiid's
limited
gonna
him, but
get
that's
his,
because
though.
the talent was not around him. You know, you faced him with Josh Richardson and Ben Simmons.
Come playoff time, though, we really haven't seen Embiid be the dominant
They
force
haven't,
that we've
said
seen.
anything yet about it.
No, okay. We haven't seen Joel Embiid be
soreness,
Joel
though, right?
Embiid. Outside the Raptors series, he was definitely great against the Raptors.
He
but
hasn't been what he's been in regular season for sure, but he's still been an elite player.
Definitely. I mean,
Now,
Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I think that with Harden and Embiid, granted your isolation defense is not very good. Harden's great in isolation. Philly can give the Celtics a lot of matchup problems, and I wouldn't be surprised if they beat them in a series. I don't think it's just let's chalk the Celtics in as winners.
Outside of Embiid, what's a matchup
Typical.
problem?
Hold on.
James Harden,
Typical Joel.
Versus who?
anybody that's on him.
Get away with this, and I'm not gonna let.
I don't know.
Typical
about that.
Joel. You wouldn't be surprised if the Sixers
wouldn't-
beat the Celtics, right?
Wouldn't be surprised.
Who'd
It's
you
his
pick?
favorite phrase.
You pick the Celtics.
I'm gonna wait till my playoff prediction.
You
episode.
just, I just can't with you, man.
Why
Listen,
would I do
it's
that right
pretty
now?
simple. If you're Joel or someone who doesn't believe in the Celtics or straight up hates the Celtics, you could take this Nets game and run with it and, point out all of these things, even though I was one to point out the,
You just
the
pointed
isolation
out
defense.
isolation.
No, for sure. But
And that's respect because
yeah.
but I'm the one shitting on that. I'm just like, hey, I'm not really taking that too much into account because team defense is what matters to me really, and the Celtics are still a top
But
five team in that aspect.
Listen, the Celtics to me are the second best team in the East. I don't think they're gonna beat Milwaukee.
that's fine.
I think Giannis.
Milwaukee's amazing.
They can.
That's
People-
fine. Well,
people are-
John's calling us pretenders
Calling
over
frauds
here.
is ridiculous.
Or frauds. I don't
Frauds
know
is
what word to
He
ridiculous.
use.
is a Denver fan.
You are Mr. Pretender.
Well, listen. You know what's the thing
Literally.
about the Bucks?
Suns and Denver fan. What are we talking about?
Enough people are not talking.
That's fucked up.
Enough people are not talking about how Giannis could win his second championship this year.
You could.
He could win his second championship.
could.
this year.
Listen, I'm not saying we're
Why
we're
is there not-
definitely
why are
not
we
going
not
to
talking
beat the Bucks in
16
5
in a
or
row?
6.
I don't think nobody's
I think
really
you can
talking
say
about it
because
like
I think
that.
the same way you can say Giannis can win his second, Tatum can win his first.
It's a fact.
He won't win his first.
You see, but that's just hating.
It
Because
is.
it's the same. You can say that Tatum can win his first
That's
and Giannis can win
hating.
his.
Why is
Nah,
that
it
hating?
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Why is that hating?
So why
Because the
can't
Celtics
Tatum,
have just as much
why-
as a chance to beat any team in
Because
the
he
West
won't
as the
be
Bucks.
the Bucks.
Oh, all right. Well, he
That's why he
can.
won't win
It's the
it.
same. He can be the
He
Bucks.
can. I don't think he can.
Oh,
but you,
he
exactly.
will.
But do you think
Why
that
can't-
Milwaukee will
This is
win?
why, like,
the
I can't have a
final?
Celtics
No, I know.
conversation with
No, I
him
get it.
because it's always just going to be whatever's negative. This is what Joel's going to push, and whatever's positive, there's an excuse or a reason for why it was positive, and won't be positive again in the future.
on you.
We've seen Jason Tatum and the
cooked you.
Celtics beat the
He's on you.
Bucks.
He cooked
They've
you,
done
actually.
it just
Without
last year
Chris Middleton.
without Middleton. Okay, regardless what you're going to
That was
say,
huge.
we
Without
beat them,
Middleton was
and
huge.
Middleton has been in and out of the lineup this season
They've
as
been-
well.
no, but he's healthy
yes,
now.
he
He's
is
getting
healthy
healthy.
now.
Since he's
He
been
is
back,
healthy
they're
now.
undefeated.
Yeah.
For sure, without a doubt. But we've seen Jason Tatum beat the Bucks, go to the finals, and come
when
up
they're
2
healthy.
games short.
Not when they're healthy. Not when they're healthy. That's like the big thing that you're missing. Not
We
when
weren't
they're
healthy
healthy
either. We didn't have Rob
Obviously,
Wills.
if you take
Rob
a
Wills
player,
missing games.
if you take a player's if Jaylen Brown gets injured for the Celtics, they're done.
I agree.
Like, what are we talking about here?
do you
Like,
mean
if you take
done?
the second, what do you mean? They're not getting past the
Like
Bucks.
the first round. Okay, absolutely.
First round, we don't know.
Oh my
Jaylen
God.
Brown was
so.
huge in
So
that first
Tatum's
round.
not good enough. Where Tatum was one of
He
the
cannot
few
beat the Cavs
guys.
without Jaylen Brown.
Tatum was one of the. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm
cannot
not saying
beat
you're wrong.
Philly
But
without Jaylen
let's
Brown.
just remember what Tatum did against the Big Three Nets. 50 ball and
They
still
won one
took a
game,
game.
though.
Hey, by himself won
Riv.
one game against one of the best.
If last year in the playoffs, Jaylen Brown didn't play the entire series, do you think the Nets beat them?
Be who? The Bucks?
The
Fuck no.
Celtics.
Oh,
First round.
No.
Listen, I'm not gonna say I think the Nets do beat them, and the reason why is
What's
because
the point of this, though?
because bro, all y'all look at is that they beat them 4-0, but y'all don't
Every
look
game
at
was close. Whoa,
Yeah.
easy. We acknowledge that it was
every
a close
game was
four.
close.
We
If you
was
take
close
Jaylen
four.
Brown out of all of those games,
Of course.
do the Nets
Okay,
not
but you
win?
you
I just-
also
I
have
love
two.
the
You
Jaylen
also
Brown
have two.
appreciation now.
You have two of the
Bro, he's a
best.
great player.
Joel,
It's
you-
amazing.
the Nets had
So
two of
good
the
to see.
best straight up dogs,
What about
elite
you, Riv?
scorers in the
Wow.
clutch
Jaylen
of
Brown.
all time in Durant
Oh,
and
God.
Kyrie. And in crunch time, who was
Jaylen
better, the
Brown's your
Celtics
guy.
or Nets? The Celtics won the one who made the plays last year. So they were all close. But if you do it 4 times in a row with two of the best scorers in the clutch that we have ever seen, that holds a lot of weight.
Yes, they were all
Talk about
close,
the
but I'm
Celtics.
saying if you take Jaylen Brown out of that series, just like the Bucks did not have Middleton in the entire Celtics series,
I don't disagree.
Giannis was still able to take you guys to 7, bro.
Because Giannis is
But Giannis
much
is
better than
Giannis.
Tatum.
Absolutely.
I mean, we know that.
Yeah, Giannis is
Yeah.
a fucking dog.
Yeah,
He might be
he
the
is.
best player in the
Giannis can-
league.
I mean,
Yeah.
Tatum, is there a more streakier superstar player in the NBA than
Probably
Jason Tatum right now?
not.
It's really just been the last month or two.
Who has
to start the year?
more
He was
off
fantastic.
games than Jason Tatum?
Out of the superstars, nah, he's the youngest. Well, he's one of the youngest. So Luka's a
Trae
different breed.
Young's no longer a superstar.
I don't think he's in that
Not-
tier
he
with them.
definitely-
not-
no,
not-
he was
not-
never in
I
that
know.
tier.
I'm talking like in that
Never?
tier. No,
Superstar, no.
Not in that conversation.
no, he's not in that tier. I think Tatum probably.
What is wrong
probably
with
most-
you, man?
I swear, you.
It's really
Are
not-
you trying to
it's really
accuse?
not
Am I
last
being
month or so,
accused?
Nah, man.
Am I being accused of saying
Nah,
that?
you just get me so
What does he
angry
get you?
sometimes.
Am I?
Remember when Trae Young was the best point guard in the NBA?
He was
I said
foolish
that.
for that. He was wrong
Bro,
and foolish.
I said he had
So
the best
him saying that he
season.
never was that, coming from
I get
him
what you mean.
is crazy. That's it.
He also.
I just wanted to catch.
he-
I
he-
just
hold
wanted
on,
to see if I
Riff,
could catch
Riff,
him.
Riff,
He's
I
an
did.
average Steph
I
hater.
did.
Riff, hold up. Did I ever say Trae was better than Steph? No, I did not. I said Trae had the best point guard season.
said
No, no,
Trae
no,
Young's
no, no,
regular
no, no.
season.
You said
You
Trae
said
Young
he's
is
the
the best
best
point
point
guard
guard.
in the league.
You made
I
a
said he
TikTok.
had the best
No,
point
no, no,
guard
no,
in
no,
the
no, no,
season.
no, 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 no.
No,
I remember
He
this
had the
vividly.
most
Stop,
points and
stop.
assists of any
Stop.
point guard.
No, no,
What are you
enough.
I just want to
talking
make
about
sure we
here?
got him.
Enough.
That's
I
it.
remember this
Now
vividly.
I got him.
You said
for sure.
Trae Young is the best point guard in the league. He's better than Steph. That is exactly what you said.
didn't say he
bar
was better than Steph,
for
bro.
bar. When people brought up Steph, you was like, he's better
In
than
the
Steph. And then 2 months later,
context
when
of
Steph, and 2 months later, when
the
Steph
better
went on, when
season, yes.
Steph showed you why he was the best player in the league, you was like, I was a fool for thinking Trae Young was
Wait,
the best
Steph,
point guard in the
Steph
league.
showed me. You mean the guy that I picked to win the finals in the beginning?
Which is hilarious.
He just
'cause you said
always
Trae-
has
you said
an
Trae was
avenue.
better
Get the
than
hell
him.
out of here.
You're just moving the goalpost. You
Get the
still
hell
said
out of
Trae
here.
was better.
I literally, bro, I had the Warriors winning the finals in August with Riv
Okay.
on this episode.
How does that
Which is
change
so
the fact you said
disrespectful
what
that
you
you
I
were
had
Trae
doing?
the, I
in
had
front
the
of
Warriors
that
winning
man.
the finals any episode we talk about finals. I said I think Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
Even we was at the bar. Y'all was up 2-1, and I said Warriors still gonna win,
You're-
little bro.
you're a
That's what
generational
I
hater.
said. That's what I said.
That only goes to me.
He's not for the
No,
Celtics.
he's definitely in that
If we're- if-
category.
Yeah,
bro.
yeah, for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm with everything.
Nah, yeah, but listen, I don't listen. If you want to think I hit on the Celtics, you can think that all you want.
Last-
Everything is a hater thing now. When you tell the truth, when you speak the gospel, everything is hating on. Even Jesus was hated. It don't matter.